can't believe it, the April Park Board meeting. Start out, you want to do the roll call?
Yeah. Anthony Liberco.
Here.
Mike Kennedy.
Here.
Pat Casanova.
Here.
Pam Brokaw.
Here.
We're all here. In your packets that were sent out were the minutes from the last meeting. Did anybody see anything that was omitted or have any changes? If not, the chair will entertain a motion to approve.
Move to approve.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. We don't have any citizens here for comments. New business. Mike, you want to have?
Yeah.
Garden Club.
I'll roll through all these so you can save your voice. So first item that we have, item A, is to approve the tree application from the Hudson Home and Garden Club. So if you remember last year, they kind of filled out the same application. They want to donate a tree down in Lakefront Park to help replace some of the trees that we've lost due to the storms over the last couple of years. We came up with a location near the boardwalk where there's a picnic table. We had to take down a big ash tree just because of emerald ash borer. Perfect spot to put one. So, and they agreed, like, yep, that sounds good to us too. So they submitted the application and they would pay for the tree and the planting, and then we would just maintain it from there on. And so staff is recommending approval.
Anybody have any questions about it? Is there a motion to approve?
Move to approve.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Number 2, discussion and possible action on the memorial application.
Yep, so received another memorial application from Nathan Hall. This one's a little unique. He obviously is very familiar with Hudson and the riverfront and lakefront. And let's see, in his application, he wants to do a memorial to memorialize his grandmother. Wasn't a resident, but he's been a resident here for 20 years. She was a frequent visitor, liked to go down along the St. Croix River for walks and just watch. So he's identified a couple of benches that already exist along the lakefront park. One is down by the boardwalk, and the other one is closer to the St. Croix Street trail, which is kind of on the north side of the park. And so typically what happens if a person comes in and wants to use an existing bench and put a plaque on there, we don't let them just put the plaque on there. The kind of the precedent that has been set is they would still need to buy a bench that would place in a different park or location in the park. So, and he agreed to those terms. So he would basically pay for the plaque, and then he would also pay for the purchasing of a new bench that we could put wherever we wanted to. So based on those terms, the text for the plaque is stated in the issue sheet. I guess it's up to the park board if you want to move forward with this application.
I'll move to approve.
Moved. Second. Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Anybody have any questions?
Just a quick point of clarification.
Yeah.
So what is the status of memorials? Because I actually was thinking about having more memorials in the park and things like that, because people always want to do either trees or benches or whatever.
Yeah.
Or even the bricks, like if we got a project.
Yeah.
But if we had like a list of things we want funded and allow people to choose from them, that this is the memorial.
Debbie does have a list of things from trees, benches.
Yep. Yeah.
And then we have places identified in the parks where
Oh.
they can go look at, like if somebody wanted to do something, let's say in Bergmos Park, and do a bench. Here's the kind of approved benches, and then where are you thinking? Here's where we think.
Yeah. Yeah, I know we did have discussions here not too long ago about how much is too much for memorial benches specifically in the parks. You don't want to have every bench be you don't want to have like a walking memorial in your parks, right? So
Well, if you look at the state fair,
yeah.
that
There-
whole state fair now is covered with more. In fact,
Yeah.
they ran out of
Yeah.
room.
Yeah. And so it's one of those things where it's been discussed, like some people like that, some people don't. Obviously it's good overall for the park system because you basically get a bench for free, right? For the city, you don't have to pay for it, and they keep getting more and more expensive. And so, yeah, we come up with kind of a list of areas, and each application is different. Most of the time, people want to go down to Lakefront Park just because it is such a great place, right? But we talked about bricks at some point in time. We just didn't really pull the trigger on anything.
Okay,
So, but it's been discussed in the past.
all right, we can move on.
Okay.
Okay. Item C, discussion of possible action and purchase of new playground equipment.
Sorry, Pat.
Oh, we didn't vote, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Well, first and a second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye, motion carried. Sorry, now we'll move on to item C, the new playground equipment for Prospect Park.
All right, so this was in the 2024 capital improvement plan. We met up at Prospect Park, what was it, last summer, fall? I don't remember anymore, last fall, because the leaves were on the ground. And we kind of discussed some updates to the playground units. And so I went ahead and got some quotes and some different types of playgrounds through Minnesota, Wisconsin Playground Recreation, who we've used in the past. They're through a purchasing cooperative, and then another company had reached out and kind of heard about what we're trying to do, and they reached out and gave us some pricing on some different units. So I guess, you know, what I'm looking for is just some general discussion on which direction you'd want to go. We have a total available funds of $155,000. And so obviously, the ones from the MWP Recreation fall within that budget. The one from Compan, basically what I did with that company is I kind of went through their magazine and I selected different types of features. You could do like an a la carte, so you don't have to spend the full amount what they had quoted us, which was like $170,000, which is definitely way out of our budget. So anyways, just looking for general direction. I will say that the MWP Recreation quotes, they do include the large, what do you say, spider net, climbing net. Each one of those proposals includes one of those. So I guess it all depends. Any leftover remaining money that we have would go towards updating the pavilion
I'm sorry.
that we had talked about at the last meeting, updating the countertops, the plumbing, and the electrical. So that would be, any remaining money would go towards that. So I guess I'll open it up. Were you able to kind of look at the playground? Do you want me to bring them up on your screen in front of you to help or not?
That would be,
I've got them.
You want it, Pam?
if you could, that would be.
Otherwise, here.
You said they all include a spider web,
Well, you
right?
got it right here. Just keep scrolling. Oh, you got them.
Oh, okay. I can keep scrolling too for the public.
Correct my memory, when we were up there
Yep.
and walking around, we didn't feel it was that broken,
Okay.
that it needed that much
Yep.
in terms of playground equipment.
Right.
Maybe adding something like the spider web or something like that that's unique or different. And then possibly reallocating those dollars to something else, like another little pavilion or
Okay.
something like that.
Yeah, I couldn't remember. Is that kind of what we had discussed?
Yeah, I think we kicked around, Pat. I remember that too. I also, like, one of the questions I had on, kind of overall is there were swing sets and then more of a younger, like kind of, well, I'll say teenage, although teenagers don't do that anymore.
Yeah.
Young teens.
5 to 12.
And then the younger,
Toddler.
Yeah,
Toddler, there you go.
Toddlers,
kids,
right,
Yeah,
right.
and I remember you and I had the conversation, hey, send a crew out here with some spray paint and a couple, get some of the rust off here. It looked like it still had some time left in it, and I know that, a lot of it was plastic, and so maybe that's getting brittle or whatever. So I'm not, was the intention to replace the youth stuff, or the toddler stuff?
Toddler
And
stuff.
then leave the swing sets in the?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, yep. But I can go, I mean, it's up to you guys.
Yeah.
If you want to keep and try to salvage the toddler stuff and just buy the net and reallocate some of those dollars to a different project up there, I'm open to anything. So it's your call.
Do we know what, redoing the pavilion?
I haven't got any pricing. I was kind of waiting to see what direction we go tonight, but I'm guessing you're probably looking at 10 to 15,000,
Okay.
how about bathroom?
Yeah, well, we got the lower bathroom.
Yeah, but I mean, is there any work that we need to add to that is gonna blindside us?
No,
Okay.
that one's in good shape yet. We got
Okay.
a lot of life out of that one. The only thing we other talked about is adding some type of pavilion on the upper portion
Yeah.
of the park near the old hospital.
Yeah,
So.
Yeah,
we
that's
talked
kind of what I remember. And some of this stuff is really cool. I think that spider net thing is something different.
Yeah.
And newer. And maybe that's a concept that we replace pieces over the years as opposed to rip everything out and put a whole new thing in. I did like that first one that it said the finish is natural, but that's a recycled plastic, isn't it?
Yeah.
I like that look. It's a lot more natural than these
Right.
bright neons and whatever.
Right.
So if there is anything we think is, well, maybe your crew goes up there and says, some of these footings are actually dangerous now, or maybe it is rusting through, not just surface rust. Maybe piece by piece we could replace it. But I kind of remember that I thought, boy, it'd be horrible to rip it all down, throw it in a dumpster, and the same 6-year-olds are still going to run around and have fun,
Yeah.
whether it's brand new or not, and maybe steer these funds to, maybe add some features. We talked about the sink that
Yep.
we're struggling with. Maybe there's a very expensive sink, but it's vandal proof or
Yeah.
whatever. Because people rent that specific pavilion out, right?
oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's,
Yeah.
very.
So that,
heavily-
we
And
might
that
get better
reflects-
return by putting our money in that.
Well, then it reflects on us,
Yeah, right.
right?
Yeah.
If
Yeah,
they go in, it's all shabby and beat up,
right.
they go, what's,
Yeah, that's not worth mine.
rent it, and it's,
Oh, yeah.
Did we talk about the fireplace?
Yeah.
Doing something with the fireplace? Were we going to work on doing some finishing on, or is? what-
No, we talked about enclosing, cleaning it, but then shutting it off, but keeping it in place. I know we did discuss about maybe removing it, but there was no appetite for that, just because of the historical,
Sure.
portion of it, so. But yeah, I mean, I'm fine if you wanna just approve the net, the climbing net, and that's it, and then we come back continue to work on it throughout the summer and work on the pavilion, and then after that, see how much money we have left, and then if we wanna put a pavilion up top for the hospital site, I mean, we can do that too.
Kind of like the idea of piecemealing, because then
Yeah.
Yep.
every year if you add something new, it's, new
Yeah.
attention for the public.
Yeah,
Yeah, I do like that net one too.
yeah, it is neat.
Yeah, it's neat. And if we do end up doing work in the pavilion or even another one, it's something that it goes to a broader base of people too.
Yeah, yeah. So the net, let's see, the net from Compan was 22,430. Let me see if I can find what the cost was for,
Is that installed, Mike?
yeah.
And I wonder if that same company would do renovation of existing equipment, even if it's not theirs, I don't know.
Yeah. Jeff, you can take my, there you go, thank you.
Yeah, if there's a slide that's cracked or.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. But,
somebody knows what they're doing, because.
Yeah. I'm all
I
for.
don't mean to cast aspersions at them, okay? But our crew is pretty competent
Oh, yeah.
compared to, you got this little job to do over in Hudson, so you send Felix and Mark over and they're, what do we do next?
Yeah.
Look at the view?
Yeah.
So what's below the net? Is it,
So it's engineered wood fiber, so wood chips.
Sky wrote, I don't think they have it a la carte in this.
We don't have it
No.
online.
Oh, bear with me. All right, 18,000 from the MWP
For the unit or for the unit and installation?
for just the unit, so it's probably similar pricing, because like I said, both of them are through that cooperative purchasing agreement, so usually they're fairly similar. Yeah. So I guess with that, what I would do is I would just recommend going with the MWP, just because a lot of our equipment is through them, and it's just to kind of keep things consistent for warranty and any type of, repair work, so on and so forth.
Somebody want to make that into a motion?
I'll move to approve.
What is the motion we're approving? To buy the net?
That's what I'm looking for, to be as specific as we can. So it's to buy the net
Climbing that, yep.
and the
Have them
and the
install
whole
it.
thing installed and put in with the base.
Yep.
And then use other dollars to go where needed in the park for repair and restoration.
Okay. Just want to make sure we capture that.
Yep, I got it.
It's been moved and I'll second it.
Okay.
And that would include the chip, that's,
That would include all the border and the fill material and, yep.
Okay.
And would that go in the toddler area, or is there
No.
more room?
It would go over towards the 5 to 12, so over
Okay.
by the swings and the giant slide and
I
then
think
they
that's
go around.
perfect.
Yeah,
That's a great spot for it.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
We got room. I went out there and measured and selected a size that would fit in there.
Okay, yeah.
Everybody clear on what we're saying? All those in favor say aye.
I
Motion carried. I think that'll be good.
Great.
Old business, the Meadowlark Lane Park.
Yeah, so this was cool. So got a lot of great responses. So after a previous park board meeting, I drafted just a little short 5-question survey. I didn't want to inundate, the residents with too many questions, hoping that I get a lot better response. And lo and behold, we did. We got 55 responses. I sent out 128 letters. So almost a 50% response rate, which is fantastic. Yeah.
That's huge.
Yeah, and so I'll kind of just go through the survey and what people had said. Question 1 was, how often would you visit a neighborhood park? The response, 26, almost 50% said weekly, 35% said daily. So between weekly and daily, it accounted for, 80%. So that's good news that if we do, or if and when we do something down there, it'll be used. So that's great. One caveat is I did not send any surveys to the apartment complex itself. That was too challenging
Okay.
for me. So it was just all of the single family and town twin homes kind of on the north side there. The Hudson Meadow is the first development. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Okay.
And although people that are in the apartments, in a way pay property taxes, it's
Yes.
good to hear from the landowners
Yeah.
directly. That's,
Yep.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, that's okay. I was just gonna ask if the apartment complex has any, like age restrictions or is it special? Is it low income or what is it? Just,
No, I think they're just strictly market rate apartments. There's no designations to it.
okay.
Question 2 was, what is the most important opportunity to have close to home? The overwhelming response was a place to take kids or play at 50% of the responses. The next closest was a place to relax and enjoy the outdoors, which is what you want to do with the park. Question 3, outdoor activities you and your members of your household most frequently participate in over the last year. Biggest response was walking on running and paved trails at almost 40%. At about 35, a little higher than 35% was playgrounds. The other options were field sports, court sports, sitting, relaxing, picnicking, but those were onesies and twosies. Biggest response was playgrounds and walking trails, which is very common whenever we do these types of surveys. Number 4, check improvements that we'd most like have installed in a neighborhood park. The residents were able to check up to 4. There were things from trails, restrooms, natural areas, playground equipment, outdoor exercise equipment, security lighting, basketball courts, racket courts, picnic shelters, benches, grills, parking lots, shade trees, prairie restoration. So based on this, and I think this is kind of where the meat of the survey is, kind of get an idea of what the residents are looking for. The highest vote getter at 65% was sidewalks or trails, followed by playground equipment at 61%. And then from there, you go down to benches and picnic tables at 40%. Or, I'm sorry, shade trees was at 45, I'm sorry. Yep, and then benches and picnic tables at 40%. So, I guess based on the responses that we got, I guess I'll open it up to see what you think, but it's playgrounds, it's benches, it's trees, it's maybe a little shelter, and maybe try to incorporate a trail connection on the south side of the park over to and kind of where Hanley and Old Highway 35 meet.
Yeah,
And I think you got yourself
a park.
a nice little park that most of the
Yeah.
residents responded to. So unless you see
Yeah,
anything
one
else.
we just did up by Quick Trip as a model,
Yeah.
Yeah,
you know, what a dollar buys.
yep,
Yeah, because I'm trying to, people did say racket courts or lighting, exercise, but it was a lot less percentage-wise. And like I said, if people are interested in the survey that are on the public that are watching this, you can go onto the City of Hudson website, click under agendas and minutes, and find our meeting here, and find the agenda packet, and you can scroll through all the survey results. So just in case you're interested.
That's fabulous that we got that high a response.
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
That's just great.
So, is that kind of the,
Yeah.
kind of what you're thinking then, as far as development?
Because I think we've always said, at least this is my memory, the size of it and kind of its location, it's always meant to be somewhat of a localized park for that area.
Correct. Yeah.
And, the biggest ticket item is restroom, I would assume. We're talking water and sewage and all that. So when they're smaller and more local, we've kind of said, maybe we don't have to throw that in there. So that kind of opens back up, and it's amazing. Your little summary there, checks about 5 boxes. Some trees, some benches, maybe just one of the
Playground
gazebo thing, and then a place for the kids to play. And yeah, instead of maybe a straight sidewalk, there's an S-curve path through there, so we feel like we're in a little park. But again, it's 2.5 acres. You're not gonna get lost in the wilderness, but it still might be a neat little
And
place to go.
we could always plan in advance for an area where a court would go.
Right.
If you wanted to put in a basketball, pickle,
Yeah,
tennis court
Yeah.
in some area. So we know in advance that could go over there.
Okay.
Don't plant trees in that, but,
Yeah.
that kind of
Yeah.
thing. And lay out how our long-range plan for the park would go depending on usage too.
Okay. Well, I guess if that's the consensus, what I'll start working on is I'll put together kind of a plan, an outdoor rec plan to include in our outdoor rec plan, which is coming up at the end of 2025, believe it or not, to relook at that. But anyway, so I'll start putting together some schematics to include in that, and then I'll bring it back to the board for future review and approval, and then kind of once we settle on kind of just a general layout of where things should be located, then we can kind of just pick away at it and start improving that park. So, does that sound good to everyone?
Sounds
Yeah.
great.
Okay, awesome.
and this, I guess I can't see, is this the park and ride?
Yeah,
May soon
Yeah.
be a new another neighborhood or an addition to the neighborhood.
yep, exactly.
So more funds will come from that to feed into this area's park budget, okay.
Yeah, so any type of development of this part, it's a good point. Any park development would come out of the Park Trust B. So the current balance in that trust, which is basically collecting dollars from commercial and residential improvements, we're sitting at $489,065. So there's a substantial sum of money in there. But that includes, obviously this park that we're talking about. There's also a 7-acre park down in the St. Croix Meadows development that we're gonna have to
Yep.
improve in the future. So I mean, that's gonna be a large park, so a lot
We're
of
gonna
dollars.
have a lot of property
Right.
being developed in the future that's gonna kick in
Correct.
additional funds.
Correct. So those are kind of the two
That's
main.
built out.
Yeah, the dollars have to be spent on new development. So you can't, let's for instance,
Oh.
revamp Anderson Park and buy, new playground. It's gotta be like new, like bare ground, new development. So anyways, all right, well, that's a good plan. Let's go with that. And like I said, maybe I'll just keep it a standing item here for the next few months until
Yeah.
we,
The only thing I'd toss into that for general thinking is bathrooms are something we can get by with a porta potty and that kind of thing and be, and have people be content with it for a while until it gets too busy so we don't have to shoot a big amount now in bathrooms as opposed to putting it into other infrastructure that'll get people using it.
yeah.
Because a bathroom in the middle of nowhere is just,
Right.
Will there be
what we'll
park,
end up with.
I'm sorry,
No, go right.
will there be parking at this part? Or do you anticipate parking spaces, or will people be walking or riding?
It's a good question. What do you think?
And maybe that's part of the that's the, maybe
Yeah.
ties into the restroom question
Yeah.
also, is what do we need there as far as,
I guess what I envision is a majority of the people that are gonna be using this park are gonna be walking from the apartment complex, which is right out their back door, or from just the adjacent neighborhood, which is less than a 3-minute walk to the north side. So, I don't, what I would, we could put in the initial plan, just kind of designate an area for parking. Let's just say people wanna hold a picnic there, they wanna invite friends and family over, and, grandma and grandpa come down and want, but I could see maybe that, but I wouldn't put in a full-fledged parking lot, maybe just like a 4-staller, but something that we could plan for in the future. And if there is a need that we're saying, oh, we need some parking, then we have a spot to put it. But right from the get-go, I don't think we would install it right away. Kind of just wait and see what the users have, because I think, well, they
Is that
had,
sort of like a cul-de-sac? I mean,
there is a
on your-
cul-de-sac,
yeah.
yeah.
That
We-
picture has sort of like, sort of a roundabout thing. You could almost
Stripe some,
stripe right there.
yeah.
Because, I think if we start adding too much parking, I mean, it's not that huge, but
Because
I wouldn't want,
You want it to be
$200,000 to go into blacktop for a
No,
park.
yeah.
one person said paved parking lot. So I think we just kind of play it by ear. If there is a demand there in the future, then I think,
Oh, I
I
think-
think it'd be easy enough to install something right off that cul-de-sac bulb.
Yeah, and to plan it,
Right.
and plan accordingly.
Yeah.
Where we put things, so that
Right.
should we need or should have to do,
Yeah.
we've got the capability to do it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Likewise, it goes in our master plan
Yeah.
then. So it's in our master plan, so if we ever want to go do something, we aren't restricted
Yeah.
by that.
But, speaking of the St. Croix Meadows, 7-acre parcel, I mean, I could see a large scale, that's gonna be more of a regional type facility possibly. It depends upon if it's like, I know we talked about doing some type of different, improvements down there, but that might be an area where it's more of a regional, that would be a restroom. We would want a restroom down there, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's,
Pickleball.
yeah, exactly, more of a net, yeah. All right, I got direction, so that's good.
Okay. Project updates?
Yeah.
Why can't?
Yeah, just the one, the splash pad. So I have a meeting set up with the installer here coming up on Thursday, working through the permitting process with the city and through the state, plumbing, electrical, permitting, so on and so forth. So once we get them in hand, the installer will be given the green light and then able to start installing that. So I'm not overly optimistic that it's going to be up and ready, early in the season. It's probably going to be an August completion, just based on kind of what we're seeing for permitting timelines. But we'll see if it gets installed and we're able to open it up. We'll definitely open it up for the community. But I don't want to make any promises that this is going to be the year. So it's going to be a construction year. So that's all I got for updates.
All I'd add to that is to all the people online who don't think we spent enough or big enough for Hudson, a lot of those people were from the village in North Hudson or the townships. So if they'd like to ask the village or the townships to contribute to a larger water pad, we'd love it.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Big checks or money orders. Yeah.
Yeah.
please, if we could add to our budget to do things, there's a lot we'd like to do, we just don't have the funding to do it. So if people would like to participate, we'd love it. Any other business?
Move to adjourn?
second?
Moved and second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Thank you, Pete.
Thank
you.
Yep.